What's going on, guys? It's John here with another video. We're back here in the van, and today's video is about not giving up on yourself. All right, nobody's gonna do the work for you. You know, if you're a bit fat, you know, or if you've got like a goal that you want to commit to, nobody's gonna get in the gym and lose that weight for you. Nobody's gonna do the little steps that are required to do for you. You have to do them yourself, you know. So in a way, you can't give up on yourself, because nobody else is gonna lift you up. Nobody else is gonna force you to do that stuff. In fact, most people won't tell you when you're going in a bad direction, you know, which I got a little story to tell. So I had an ex-girlfriend many years ago, and I'd lost a little bit of weight, actually a lot of weight. I think I'd lost at that point like 20 kilos. I went from 135 kilos down to about 105 or maybe 115. It was a lot of weight that I'd lost, and we'd split up for a little while, and then we got back together, and you know, for a little bit, and we did the dirty together, and we sat up afterwards, and she said, you know what, like it's good that you lost weight. I'm shocked, you know, you look like a completely different person. Like, oh yeah, and we were chatting about that, and she said, you know, I didn't want to tell you, but when we used to do the dirty together, I struggled to breathe when you were on top of me. And you know, it is what it is. I was actually pretty embarrassed when she said that, but you know, I had a laugh, because I was obviously a lot more confident than I was when I was 30 kilos heavier. But the fact is that she was pretty much too afraid to tell me that I needed to lose some weight. But from there on, if I was starting to get a bit heavier, you know, she would tell me straight up. She'd be like, look man, you're getting a bit fat, you know, I think you need to lose a bit of weight. And ever since then, you know, I've had this motto in my head that a true friend will tell you when you're getting fat, you know, because a true friend that is willing to tell you that cares about your health. Most people, if they don't want to see you fail, they're probably too afraid to tell you that something's wrong. So if you recognize something within yourself, like you're not happy with your weight or the way that you look, you need to go and do that yourself. You know, you need to say, all right, well, I've had enough. You know, sometimes it does take like an embarrassing moment in your life that'll tip you over the edge and say like, okay, no, that's it, that was embarrassing, I'm done, you know what I mean, I'm gonna go and lose weight, you know. But most of us, yeah, look, you don't want to wait until that point. If you know you're fat, bro, go to the fucking gym, you know, like just do it. Sign up to the gym and just imagine yourself thinner, healthier. You know, don't give up on yourself. Keep that, you know, want better for yourself, and keep that goal in your mind every day until you succeed. Okay? So some of the things, like when we start going to the gym, we have to cut off a lot of people, right? We can't be going out to like events and hanging out with certain friends where, you know, if you go out to hang out with friends and you tend to eat junk food with them, or you drink a lot of alcohol with them, or, you know, you tend, your inhibitions become lower when you're with those people, okay? You probably want to not fully cut them off, but distance yourself from those people in the time that you're embarking on your weight loss journey. All right, so Yeah, because those people aren't going to be aligned with your goals or with your needs, and they're not going to want to tell you. If anything, um, they're probably going to say things like, they're probably going to say things that are going to lower your inhibitions, and throw you off of your goal. For instance, like a known thing is to, if you've got a weight loss goal in mind, you want to keep that hush hush. Yeah, you don't want to tell people that you're currently got a goal and you're going to the gym. You want to keep that stuff secret, because it's going to invite either praise or criticism, and it's both praise and criticism is more likely to throw you off your path. Obviously criticism is going to hurt you, and it could hinder your path. It could hinder your journey and your results, and praise can also hinder your results by feeling accomplished. You don't want people to say like, oh, that's really good, you're starting to lose weight, that's really good, like you inspire me, and you're looking good. You want to kind of avoid as much praise as you can, because when you get that praise, you'll feel accomplished, and then you'll feel like you can go out one night and have some junk food, and like, or maybe get some sugary food with those people, or just on your own. You want to avoid that. You want to avoid as much sugary food as possible and as much junk food as possible when you're on this journey. Otherwise, yeah. It's 80% kitchen, 20% gym. If you're going to the gym and you're doing your cardio, you're doing your muscle resistance training, and then you go get McDonald's afterwards, or Hungry Jack's afterwards, or Burger King, whatever, you've pretty much just like done nothing. You know what I mean? There was no point to that workout at all. Maybe you might have built a bit of muscle, but at the same time, if you're trying to lose fat, well, it's pointless. If you really want to get results, you need to eat in calorie deficit, and you need to eat healthier foods, have better food choices. So be careful of the company you keep, all right? Enjoy your own company. Learn to be content and happy with yourself, in those times. It's a good time to just be silent with yourself, a lot of the time, to avoid your smartphone, and avoid scrolling endlessly on TikTok and Facebook and such. Like, instead watch some videos that are going to motivate you on YouTube, towards your fitness goals. Set up that goal in your mind, and get it done, and do what you can to always remind yourself that you're on a new journey, you're becoming a new person, all right? And keep that intention out there, because you don't want to be in the same spot where you're overweight and you're unhealthy and you can barely move, and unhappy in your life. You want to be happy. I can tell you this because I was unhappy when I was fat, and I was quite a big boy, and I lost all the weight, and I feel so much better now that I've completed those goals. So don't follow the crowd. Don't follow the crowd, and enjoy your own company. Learn to enjoy your own company. While you're in the gym, you want to have a good playlist or a good set of music, a good genre of music that's going to keep you motivated. Okay, you want to avoid your social media on your phone. You want to have in front of you on your phone, or maybe a notepad or something with your workouts, okay, and a music playlist that's just gonna get you angry, or get you pumped up for a mad session every time. Okay, you want to, when you go to the gym, you're doing the gym. Okay, you want to avoid as much social shit as you can, because that shit is toxic, man. Like the minute you start scrolling, you next thing you know, you've been on the machine for like 2 minutes, and you start to become demotivated. So if you step inside that gym, intend to finish every workout that you have on your regime. Okay, so little story. When I first started losing weight, I was too afraid to actually get a gym membership. because I was so big, I was embarrassed to step in a gym, because I didn't want people to see me running on a treadmill where my fat was going that way and my fat was going this way, like I was scared people were gonna judge me for that. So what I did was, at that time, I would put on some drum and bass on my MP3 player, and I chuck some headphones in. I wait till nighttime, and once the sun was out of the sky and it started to become dark, I chucked on some heavy clothing and I just ran as fast as I could around the block, as fast as I could, every night. And yeah, like in a month's time, I probably lost like 15-20 kilos. Like, it's probably less than that. I think it was over three months. I lost like 30 kilos. It was incredible, like I was doing all sorts of crazy shit, man. I was cracking eggs. One time I tried cracking eggs inside of a cup and swallowing the eggs, and yeah, I just wanted to be Rocky Balboa, like just keeping myself amped up, trying different things, yeah, I didn't do that again. I did that one time, and I stopped doing that, because that was not pleasant. And yeah, don't do that. So have a killer playlist. All right, the drum and bass really got a fat man moving, brother. You want to put on something that motivates you to move, that gets you amped up, and you want to think about how much of a change you're going to make in your life while you're doing that workout, while you're listening to that music. It's all about filling your senses with something that's going to motivate you, because yeah, you don't want the experience to be a dry experience, right? So yeah, my last point is just small focused steps. It's going to lead you to a positive outcome. Okay, make sure you just keep taking small steps. I've always had another motto. It's that you don't always have to see the whole staircase. You just need to take the first step. Okay, you don't need to see where this staircase is going to lead you to. You just need to continue taking small steps. All right, that's called walking by faith. Every day, you want to fill up your mind with content that's going to help you achieve your goals. That's why I say watch a lot of YouTube. Follow some creators that are going to inspire you, to do workouts and achieve your goals. I myself am on the same journey that you're going to be on, because my inhibitions were lowered for a few months too, and like I was looking good for a little while, like I went from 70 up to 85, and now I'm up to 95 kilos, which is not where I want to be. So my plan is to lose 15 to 20 kilos. I'm on that same journey. So if you want to follow me, this is what I'm doing. I'm going to do it here with you. So if you plan to lose weight, I'm going to be doing that too. And this year is just motivating me in a sense to stick to my word, so just keep doing the small steps. That's exactly what I'm doing. I went to the gym today even though I didn't want to. When I got into the gym, I did exactly what I'm telling you not to do. Like I ended up on social media, and man, it was like 1 minute turned into 5 minutes, and before I knew it, I'm like, what am I doing? I need to finish my workouts, and I, on my regime, I think I skipped like one of my workouts. I think it was like my rear delts or whatever. You don't want to do that. Every day I'm wringing that out. You know what I mean? Out of me. I'm wringing the squeezing the weakness out of me, and you should be doing the same too. Hold really high standards for yourself in this time when you're trying to lose weight, because it's your health. It's everything. I know for certain 20 kilos ago when I was thinner, I felt really good. I looked really good. People received me better. And this is also going to happen to you if you stick to your goals. You're going to look better. You're going to feel better. Okay? Which means you can go out and enjoy your time more with people. You can do activities with your friends and your kids, your family, when you're at a better weight. So think about the outcome, the end product. All right. And keep taking those small steps. You don't need to see the whole staircase. You kind of know what's at the end of the staircase, but every time you kind of look in the mirror, it's like, well, I don't see it yet. That can easily throw you off of your path. Don't allow it to. Keep taking those small steps. Avoid that praise from people. Avoid the criticism by just keeping it to yourself. Don't tell people that you're losing weight and you're on a weight loss journey. Right? You don't want to end your journey before it even starts. Okay? People are bound to criticize you. They're bound to give you praise. They don't think about these things. Okay? We're not always dealing with people. We're dealing with people's insecurities. So when you start making changes in your body, in your health, people are going to see that. They'll either become insecure or they'll become proud of you. And it's going to invite either criticism or it's going to invite praise. And those two things can seriously halt your progress. So that's me, my brothers and sisters. Yeah, baby, let's get it.